This human man found a helpless baby dragon. What he did next will. The storm had just passed. Rain still dripped from twisted trees as Jacob trudged through the soaked forest, his coat heavy with water and his boots squelching through mud. He'd come to the mountains for solitude, after the divorce, after the job loss, after everything. Silence was kinder than people now. But on that quiet morning, solitude cried out, a sharp, broken sound. Not quite a bird, not quite an animal. More desperate. Jacob froze. He followed the sound into a grove where the rocks sloped around a shallow ravine. Twisted branches cracked underfoot as he slid down, then stopped dead in his tracks. At the bottom, curled under a rock shelf, was a small creature. Its wings were torn. Its shimmering scales, a pale silver blue, were dull with blood and mud. Long, elegant horns curled from its small head, and its tiny chest heaved with every ragged breath. It was a dragon. A baby dragon. Jacob stared. The creature opened one glowing eye and let out a pitiful whimper. Jacob should have run. He should have called someone. But he didn't. Instead, he took off his coat. Easy now, he murmured, voice soft and steady. I'm not going to hurt you. The baby dragon hissed weakly, then trembled and went still. Jacob knelt and gently wrapped the coat around the small, fragile body. It weighed almost nothing. The bones felt too thin, the scales too cold. Hang on, little one, he whispered. Let's get you warm. Back at his cabin, Jacob laid the baby on an old couch by the fire. He wrapped it in blankets, boiled water, and cleaned its wounds. He even poured a bit of warm broth into a shallow dish, which the dragon sniffed at cautiously. For 3 days he stayed by its side. He didn't know why. Maybe because it reminded him of his daughter's stuffed animals. Maybe because he, too, had felt abandoned by the world. Or maybe because something about the way it whimpered in sleep shattered whatever was left of his guarded heart. He gave a name, Ash, for the grayish-blue tint of its scales. And slowly, Ash began to recover. It started with movement, little tail flicks, weak stretches of his wings. Then one night, Jacob awoke to find Ash curled up beside him, pressed to his chest for warmth. The next day, Ash tried to walk. The following day, he let out a small puff of smoke that startled them both. Jacob laughed. Well, you're definitely not a lizard. Ash blinked at him, then sneezed, letting out a small flame that singed Jacob's pant leg. Okay. No fire indoors. He had no idea how to raise a dragon. There was no manual, no YouTube tutorial. So he improvised. He gave Ash cooked meat, let him sleep in a nest of old blankets, and carried him outside for little flight attempts. He even read aloud to him at night, mostly to ease his own loneliness. But Ash seemed to listen, his glowing eyes half closed in contentment. Weeks passed. Ash grew stronger, bigger, smarter. He began to understand Jacob's voice. He learned not to burn furniture. He'd chirp when happy and growl when afraid. He especially liked it when Jacob scratched under his chin. Jacob built him a perch outside, carved his name into a wooden plaque above the door. And when Ash caught his first squirrel, Jacob clapped like a proud dad. You're going to be flying soon, he said one day, watching Ash flap powerful wings against the sky. Won't be long now. The thought brought a strange ache to his chest. One evening, while chopping wood, Jacob heard a strange rumble overhead. He looked up and froze. There were dragons in the sky. Not one, not two, but 6. Adult, massive wings wide as barns, with scales like molten metal and eyes that glowed like fire. They circled overhead, then descended with a terrifying grace. Ash ran from the trees, chirping wildly. Jacob stood protectively in front of him. Stay behind me, he muttered. One of the dragons landed before him. Twice Jacob's height, with jagged golden horns and ancient eyes. It looked down at him, then at Ash. The creature lowered its head. Its voice echoed in Jacob's mind, not aloud, but like thought wrapped in thunder. You protected him. Jacob swallowed. He was dying. He is a prince, the last of a fallen clutch. We searched for him across lands and storms. Ash let out a series of chirps and growls, running up to nuzzle the massive dragon, who returned the gesture gently. Jacob realized with a strange pang Ash belonged with them. He wasn't some pet or lost creature. He was royalty, a survivor. The great dragon looked at Jacob again. You did what many would not. You saved what others would have feared. What do you ask in return? Jacob looked at Ash, who now flapped beside one of the adults, almost glowing with joy. He smiled softly. Nothing, he said. Just look after him. That's all I want. The dragons were silent. Then the golden one stepped forward and bowed its head low. Then you shall be remembered in dragonkind. Friend of fire, keeper of the fallen, Jacob of the warm hearth. Ash ran back, leaping onto Jacob with a happy cry, licking his face like a giant scaly puppy. Jacob knelt, hugging him one last time. You'll be okay now, Ash. Go. Fly. Ash chirped sadly, then rubbed his snout against Jacob's chest, pressing hard, almost like a goodbye seal. Then he turned and soared. For the first time, truly, the dragons rose together into the sky, a radiant storm of wings and light. Jacob watched until they vanished beyond the clouds. That night, the cabin felt colder, quieter, but not empty, because the fire still burned. And in the center of the mantle, Jacob found something new, a single silver blue scale, glowing faintly, left on the spot where Ash used to sleep. He smiled, tears brimming in his eyes. The boy had said goodbye. And in that scale, Jacob felt warmed again, not just from fire, but from purpose. He hadn't just saved a dragon. He had raised one,